the diminishing odds of victory, even as they race to a front to replace colleagues and where they're vastly outnumbered and outflanked.
They're still showing peace signs, so I'm getting the impression they're still very optimistic. What's your feeling?
Ми так само. Ми завжди за. Ми Україну не здамо.
19-year-old Eugene has a face etched with the grime of war and seeing friends die in Severodonetsk. He spent 4 months sleeping and battling inside this armoured vehicle. He's old enough to fight and nearly die, but young enough to question withdrawing from Lyssychansk.
Конечно, обидно, то что если мы просто его, считай, почти отдали. Северодонецк, да, нас там задавили, а з Лyssychanska просто починаємо уходити. Ну, лично моє мнение, там можна було б ще хоч трохи не подати.
But the city is being changed beyond recognition, with every major landmark in the centre damaged or destroyed. It's a mass of debris and destruction. The city's authorities and police say already about 3/4 of the area is devastated. There are several thousand residents still here, where the rumble of deadly weaponry is now part of their daily routine and increased with a savage intensity over the past few days. Hear that whistle and that crunch? We know that they're coming from the south of the city, where there's a column of Russian armory which is trying to encircle the city, and they keep landing every 2 minutes. We saw no sign of any Russian troops inside Lyssychansk, despite Russian claims, but we did spot the Ukrainians driving back captured Russian armour, their blue and yellow flag flying above it now. But even amid this small triumph, there are shells coming in, forcing the curious nearby residents to take cover again. The Ukrainians are inflicting some serious casualties on their Russian enemies, but it's still not enough to hold them back. Civilians led us to the body of a Russian soldier, which they say was dumped out of the captured personnel carrier. He'd obviously been badly hurt and had a tourniquet around his leg. The discarded Russian army uniforms were laid out for the residents to see, while the police documented all the evidence for any future investigation, including exactly how he died and what he was doing. With no electricity, there's no operating morgue, but his DNA will be taken to try to identify him.
Це, найперш за все, люди. І з нашої сторони буде зроблено все, щоб тіло потрапило до родичів.
Volunteers have the awful task of bagging the corpse. Then the body is loaded into one of the few operating vehicles in the city. A larder so small, one of the volunteers has to sit cradling the dead Russian soldier on his lap, whilst his colleagues finish up gathering his personal items. Both life and death in Lyssychansk is utterly surreal. The Russians deny they're targeting civilians, but plenty of homes are being hit in the fight to seize this city. A few meters away from the flames in this building, we find Ihor, a pensioner who's struggling to accept his flat's been bombed overnight. Both floors above his are burned right through. Are you still staying in there?
Да, конечно. А куда мне? У меня нога болит. Куда мне идти? Мне некуда.
With smoking flats all around him, his determined sprinkling of water to bring down the heat doesn't seem nearly enough to stop the fire's march. Yet the pain of giving up what's his is too much. And it's this refusal to give in that we've seen repeated over and over again in this country.